Last time, on Asmiliath adventures, our heroes start their day by solidifying their plan for the Golden Hands, finally settling on hiring a handful of skilled individuals to accompany their caravan and setting up a modest web of spies throughout the land. Setting Sir Campbellton upon this task, our heroes conclude that now is the time to reveal their ownership of the Forgotten Crown of Memories, immediately requesting a meeting with the king where they finally hand over the ancient artifact. Learning that it takes a mighty toll to wear a crown for the first time, King Hunfor promises to search the lost memories after he has dealt with the more immediate threat of war and political instability. Leaving their meeting with the king with a blank favor, our heroes spend the rest of their day in the threatened capital of Freesight City. Decker and Thor make their way to the magical emporium owned by the mysterious Oldest, where they sell and purchase some new equipment with their recently acquired wealth. Jarek and Valoran travel to the highest tower of the Palace of the Sky to meet with the court wizard, Gaglino. I cannot speak today. As the evening creeps in and our heroes gather one last time before they depart, Valoran decides to accompany Thor back to Oldest's emporium for a unique saddle. Arriving back at the shop, the two are surprised to learn that one of the versions of Novin had done business in the capital recently, supposedly purchasing Blood Cleaver from the old man before hiring him to guard some unknown item. Unable to apply any real information about the yellow-eyed man's encounter, Valoran and Thor learn that a ring belonging to the Emperor has seized Oldest's attention, learning that Novin has promised to retrieve this impossible artifact for him. Gathering back into a party as the night settles in, Brandon Campbellton begins the topic of their next destination. Though Leomis was on the mind of the majority, Thor determinedly steered the party towards Thrice Tower in hopes of investigating or freeing the strange sorcerer known as Choramon. It is January 18th, as the Golden Heart caravan plods southeast towards Jarek's old hometown. The air is chilly and the roads are sparsely populated as the threat of Roige Mazev hovers over the vast plains of eastern Giles. Camped in the carriage is the new scholar that Sir Campbellton had hired, Furkan Moon, who had gathered all he could on Choraman before departing the capital. Having pored over these resources during the couple days of travel, he finally appears confident in informing the party. So it's probably early morning, you guys are just setting off on the main road heading towards Thrice Tower, the caravan kind of falling into a somewhat relatively effective pattern of travel every day. As you are beginning to move down the road, there'd be a noticeable knock on the inside of the carriage that kind of signals it to stop before the middle-aged, well-kept, very serious-looking older scholar steps out of the carriage, kind of adjusts his surcoat a little bit, looks around at the party, and then kind of waves a hand at all of you to gather.
We gather.
Precisely. So, still upon the road, where, again, in the 2 days of travel that you guys have gone through, mostly due to the fact that at any time a Roige Mazev scouting party or skirmishing group could just descend upon one of these smaller towns, the roads are very vacant of travelers or merchants or the normal populace that you might pass upon. So on this lonely road, he kind of looks around and has a book that he's kind of written a fair amount of notes in. And then, Jarek, would you say that you handed him the copy of the text that you had during this time for him to analyze?
We've certainly exchanged a few words at this point regarding all of the notes that I study like a Bible.
Okay. So he would have his own copied version of the dialect as well. Is everybody mounted, dismounted? What's the general surroundings?
I'd be dismounted.
I would.
Yeah, if we're gathering around, then we can huddle up.
Okay. So, kind of making sure everyone's gathered, giving everyone one last look. It appears that Choraman, or whatever creature that this is not a being that should be trifled with. I can explain further, and I will, but my professional opinion is that we should turn around right now and leave whatever this is where it is.
Impending doom and fire across the countryside. Yes,
Whoa,
sound wisdom.
Well, explain.
So, Choraman seems to be a rather spiteful individual, at least if the rumors and myths and songs are to be believed, which often they aren't, which I'll give you, but from the various bits of knowledge that I can gather and the dialect that I have pored over, which seems to stem from some ancient type of Draconic, which I'm not even going to try to begin to decipher because it doesn't really correlate with our type of language. It's much more a rougher speech. That's a bit boring. I will try and spare the details there. But the general story that is assembled through these various puzzle pieces of our rumors or ancient lore, we're speaking a rather long time ago before the written word or collected history was very popular. But it appears that he had a rather fanatic following, a cult, some might say, that enjoyed passing their judgment upon whatever populace or people they found themselves stumbling over in a rather brutal fashion. After some time, whether it was Choraman or some opposing figure, a dragon, a beast, a god, or what have you, gathered this rather friendly group into a final collection and then blasted them out of existence and formed Martes Bay in the resulting explosion. And I don't think that you need to have as high intellect as me to realize that something that causes a bay the size of Martes Bay is rather dangerous.
Verification. Where is that?
Martes Bay is the bay that Freeside City sits on. It's the bay just northeast of you that also Liamis and the majority of Rojmazev borders or sits on. So it is about maybe a quarter the size of Asmiliath as a whole. It's a rather large body of water.
The same body of water that Tordain came out of?
No, so that would be Graves Lake, which is a much smaller, much less eventful explosion. That we have now named all of our dates and years after.
Yes, Thor. Maybe I'm gonna throw this one out here. Still sounds like a great idea, right? Just fire, explosions.
You know, he did mention the cult, but I thought he didn't really like the cult. I mean, you know, obviously they're blown up now, apparently, so apparently didn't like him too much, but that's one part I did catch on to. You know, I understand that he's dangerous, but I just want to check. One, I feel like we need to check up on him, you know, especially if something else is going to set him free. Imagine he would be really pissed at us that we didn't come back and help him, because I'm pretty sure I may have told him I was going to.
I mean, to be respectful, if he was as dangerous as you say, perhaps he would have shown that on their first visit with him. I wasn't there, but he seemed friendly enough, named himself friend even.
It is very true.
Yeah, yes, and Novin named himself Love and Happy, and I just, you know, what's in a name?
You know, like wife. Faith.
So anyways, I think, one, I want to look at the stones just to see what's going on with those. I still want to go. I'll go talk to Friend by myself if you really want me to. If you guys are that scared of him.
You're all daft if you think I'm going to give up the chance to see this.
Okay, yeah, well, you obviously seem the most interested, so you can come with me. Valorant, I know, was very scared of Choramon the last time. And then, I mean, obviously JD's probably not going to come again.
I wasn't there the first time, and I'm okay with that.
You don't want to meet him?
Of course he does. don't you, Jarek?
You know, I've met a deity. I'm
Well, why not?
on the
two?
whole not an experience I would really recommend. You know, if we were to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, let's just not.
But that's not on the scale.
That's the point, Thor.
I don't get it.
Fine, I will join you.
Yes.
Maybe I can help get us out of it if he tries to do anything. I've been working on my magic.
I'm sure it's up to the task.
And Valorant's coming with us because it's 3v1.
I'm already along for this misadventure,
Yes.
but at least Mr. Moon can get a look at the stones first, perhaps.
Certainly would find that rather interesting. I would like to ask that if you are set upon freeing this individual, that you give me a few days' warning so I may leave the immediate area.
I don't know about freeing yet. I just want to see what's going on with him for right now, and then take it, stone by stone, pillar by pillar,
Very clever.
Thank you.
Well, I shall return to reading and note-taking, and if you have any questions, I shall be in my office. Good day.
Okay. Do you need anything?
Not at this moment, but I appreciate the offer.
Okay. I'll just... If you need anything... Okay, bye!
So he would return back to his carriage with already just interacting with him a few times. It's rather noticeable that he doesn't show a lot of emotion or express all that often, but there is distinctly a little bit of shock, maybe annoyance, maybe slight bit of terror, kind of just like working at the edge of his features as he just kind of mumbles back into the carriage. But then the party is left to their own devices. You're about half a day's travel from Thrice Tower at this point, keeping up your same pace that you have been up until this point.
Quick question. Does anybody remember the name of the king's son that is, I think, traveling with us?
Brandleton?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Brandon Campbellton, but
Campbell.
yep. That was a very nice way of smashing them together.
So, Brandon, what do you think of setting free a god?
So he had kind of stood a few feet behind you all. He has quickly learned that unless he is called upon, it's best not to disturb the tremendous intellectual capacity of the Golden Hearts. So as he is addressed, he kind of straightens himself up a little bit. Well, I think I have made it clear that I'm not quite used to the decision-making of this party, but if I can read the conclusion correctly, it is tally forth to our potential demise.
Isn't that what every day is?
Not for most people, my good friend.
I mean, you have to die someday. I feel like that's most people.
Unless you're a lich.
Or friend, which you're gonna find out. He's immortal. Pretty cool.
I am still holding out the vague hope that this is all just some horrible and intricate and elaborate joke, and that this friend or Choramon isn't there.
He may have relocated, which would be very interesting.
Only one way to find out, I suppose.
You know, as the one who may be indirectly responsible for cracking the seal on his, I'll just say prison, because that seems appropriate. I guess I should probably help see this through to the end. Silver, I want to be clear. Are you gonna be okay having to fight him if it comes to that?
Yes.
No, you make promises to people sometimes, and I know you have all of that honor and all that stuff, but this isn't something you can be honorable about. This is the potential fate of everyone on the eastern half of the continent.
JD, I will promise you this. If this all goes bad, I will definitely try to die before you. It's gonna be hard, but I will do my best to fight Choramon off, because I know that somehow he's gonna end up coming after you, even though I'm gonna be in front of him.
Don't die. Don't try to die.
Well, I'm saying, if I said if things go south, I'm gonna try to die before you, so that at least I can die defending you, versus you die and I don't. Then I have to blame myself for your death. So I'd rather it the other way.
You're just trying to escape your family and the release of God. My gods, can't get anything done. Okay, all right, fine.
Onward.
Any other conversations going to strike up in the half day's journey there?
Pull up a horse next to Valorant's. Good afternoon, Valorant.
Good afternoon.
I'm just curious. I understand why those two are going along with this, but what convinced you to follow along with this crazy idea?
I guess I'm developing a soft spot for Thor.
Oh,
He believes in this, and it's a time for crazy ideas anyway.
precisely. That's really the only reason I'm agreeing to this foolishness. We're dealing with something that can cause the end of the world. May as well see if we can get an ally of something that can also cause it.
Well, he isn't released until he is released, so for now, it's just a fact-finding mission.
I have full faith and confidence that we're capable of fucking something up enough to where we release him, whether that's our intention or not.
You're not wrong.
Fortunately, I know. All right, well, curiosity is satisfied.
Maybe we'll learn something here at the Stones that satisfies Thor's curiosity, and we can head to Liamus.
Isn't it the town that Jarek is originally from?
As I understand it.
How quaint.
Hopefully this business with Choramon will be an overriding distraction for him.
True, and set Thor straight. Get his head back in the game. Well,
Well, a warning, since it seems we're going to visit this figure, even if we don't attempt to release him, he seems quite mad. So be careful what you say.
mad as in angry or a lunatic?
A lunatic.
Is he a
Um,
friendly lunatic?
Friendly enough when we were here before, but he's also extremely powerful, whatever he is. And, well, if something he did were to accidentally maim us, I just don't think that he would find it anything but a curious accident.
Gods and kings don't care who they maim.
So it seems.
All right, well. You going to be the mouthpiece when we get there, or shall we let Thor work his magic?
Or believes he has, this relationship.
He's got quite a few best friends.
Right.
You know, I'll take that any day over some bastard that's angry at everyone. Quite an admirable trait, really.
I suppose so.
Well, I suppose I'll sit back and watch the show.
It's going to be memorable, no matter what happens.
Unless it's instant vaporizing death, and then nobody will remember us.
Someone will. Hunfor will. He has the crown.
That's comforting. I'll be remembered.
In one light or another.
How fast is that horse?
Oh, fairly fast, I should say. He's a warhorse.
I'll have to have a race one day.
We can celebrate with some friendly competition when we leave Thrice Tower.
We might have our race unintended.
A race for our lives.
I just glance up and stare off to look at Aurora flying around. Thoroughly bored at this point.
So as it reaches just afternoon, maybe about 1 or 2, you begin crossing the plains that allows you to finally see the thin smoke trails coming from Thrice Tower. As it actually comes into view, the small cluster of buildings, the majority of which are centered around the 3 stone pillars that make this town even remotely remarkable, you can see that the sparsity of people on the road is also reflected in the vibrancy of the town, where, you know, gardens and flowers might have been tended to previously, or various laborers might have been moving from place to place. It now almost resembles a lifeless ghost town, except for the few bits of evidence as a leftover hand cart or a chimney being lit of people actually functioning here. But it is certainly a more reserved style of living given the current climate. Is there any particular way the party is approaching the town?
Hold on. How bad does it look in there? Like it's been
No,
hit
like
by an attack, or just everyone is scared and staying at home?
everyone is just staying inside. That's the general vibe that you're getting. They're trying to have the most minimal footprint of raidability that they can, so.
Oh, my poor people, gods. Jarek might take the Vanguard, I guess would be the term. Take points. Last time he was here, he wasn't actually here, so a little bit of nostalgia taking over.
Okay. So, Jarek, as you lead the party into town, it takes at least a minute or two for anyone to actually even notice that this somewhat large caravan is actually entering the town. There's a few kind of scared or timid looks that kind of like peer through the corner of various windows as you pass by the kind of fringe buildings of the town. But after spotting you in particular, and then the symbol of the Golden Hearts that's loosely known, it appears that a handful of the populace begin leaving their homes, stepping out onto their porches, kind of watching you all with a distant curiosity as you begin to kind of maneuver towards the center of town.
I'd like to scan the faces of the few people we see to see how, what's the term, beleaguered? I don't think that's correct. But like how they're doing.
They would look passably okay. The older generation of the town might be a little bit more frail, a little bit more tired looking than usual. The various children and whatnot might not have the biggest beaming smiles upon their face, but they look at least well nourished for the most part and somewhat excited to see you again. There are a few that almost seem to recognize you, but you can't quite place as to why. But the overall feeling is that they're doing fine, but a very reserved fine, low-key fine.
Do we see Chad anywhere?
Don't
you
fucking
would-
ask about Chad.
You would not spot Chad Ironwood yet, no.
Or is the smithy like somewhere close by?
The smithy is
see
kind
smoke
of on the far southeastern part of the town, so you wouldn't pass by it.
Okay.
But I'm imagining you guys are bringing the caravan kind of into the center of town, perhaps centering or surrounding the Three Stones.
Yeah.
Okay. So as the caravan...
Have they managed to clear out the wall that had toppled the first one?
Yes, the ruins of your old tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would certainly be cleaned up at this point. But the cracked stone would obviously remain. But as the caravan kind of finds their natural resting spots surrounding the Three Stones in the center of the town, there is one that is kind of cracked from tip to base, and there's enough separation to peer between the two faces of stone, and you can now see what your acolyte, I guess is the correct term for Dover, had spotted when he had traveled here. There is faint, small, indented carvings of strange-looking lettering and words kind of carved into the interior of the stone that have now been revealed due to the crack. The other two stones kind of stand slightly tilted, kind of all away from each other. The last two that are not damaged is one of the ones at the tallest one, and the other one is the shortest one, the middle height one being the one that was damaged.
And how tall are all of them? Like roughly?
Tallest is probably 20, 25 feet. The shortest is probably 10, 15 feet.
Okay.
Probably
And
like
can I
a big hug in girth or width, maybe like 2 or 3 feet wide.
Nice. Okay. So in that so can I walk up to like the one with the crack?
Mm-hmm.
And then like when you look into the crack and you see like the carving or like the etchings or whatever, does it look like there's more to it or like it just stops?
It's a strange thing to conceptualize. It's something certainly foreign to Thor and perhaps foreign to the majority of the party gathered. You are getting, if you picture the word written on like a 3D plane and then placed on a piece of paper, you're getting like half of it or parts of it or a weird corner of a letter or a word that is not perfectly lined up with the crack that is formed in the stone, because the words aren't like perfectly aligned with that surface, if that makes sense. So you're seeing all these like various sprinkled bits of writing kind of jutting into the open gap, if that makes sense.
Kind of like fossilized words.
Yeah, where you're
Okay.
not like cutting it straight flat. You're like kind of getting weird off-angle versions of it.
Is anybody like coming up to address us, or do we like is everybody just?
I think given the previous arrival of Jarek here, the majority of people are just kind of content watching to see what happens. There doesn't really seem to be any sort of mayor or overseer of the town that is in charge. Jarek wouldn't be aware of any from his previous time here either. It's a small enough town that it's kind of just governed by general popularity and decision making, somewhat of a democratic bubble that, you know, ultimately belongs to some lord or lady. But yeah, so everyone's just kind of content to watch and see what's happening. Still kind of unsure of what this arrival means.
And Jarek will dismount and approach the group, and yeah, why don't I just go ahead and talk to a couple of the folks. Y'all might want to refresh yourselves. Have the smarty pants take a look at it.
I'll go get them. I'll dismount, or I guess already dismounted. I'll just walk over.
He would step out of the carriage, kind of look at the stone, and kind of get the gist and start heading that direction.
Yeah. Thor, can I borrow Carl for a second?
What do you need?
Yeah, I gotta talk to Croak.
Oh, okay. I'll just hand him down to you. Go ahead.
Nah, thanks, yeah. And then I'm just gonna, like, I guess, hold Carl's head up to his mouth like a microphone.
Is this thing on?
Hey, Croak, I might die in a few days. I'll let you know if I'm still alive in about a week.
All right.
Short and sweet. I'm not gonna bandy words.
I don't know if sweet would be the term I would use.
And then gesture over to Decker. Decker, I need your pretty face.
Okay.
Last I remember, there are a few, unmarried women. Well, even the married ones. Just, can you talk to some of the ladies around here? I have a feeling they will open up to you a little bit easier than this old fogey going and bothering them.
Sure, anything for you, Jarek.
Yeah, thanks, bud. And I think Jarek will go find a older person. You said there are a couple milling about.
Yeah.
What precisely do you want me to ask these women?
Oh, yeah, that probably would. Yeah, see what's been going on recently. Thor, Valor, and last time we were down here, our friend was just locked away. He wasn't able to leave or anything, right?
No. I don't think he has been able to leave. Because this stone has been cracked for a while, right?
Well, it's been like, what, a year or so since we all met?
It's a little over a year, but yeah.
A little over, yeah. Yeah, maybe about a year or so.
So, I mean, unless something else happened, and another stone cracked or something, I imagine he's still in the same place that we left him. Although we will have to look out for the little Carls, see if they can lead us to him. Oh, right, you weren't there for that.
Yeah, is that how y'all found him last time?
Well, there were a bunch of... Okay, well, there was one Carl. There was Carl. The Carl. And we, gave him something, and then he, ran into a little force field thing, and then that's how we found this tower. And there was like hundreds of these tiny little Carls. But yeah, that's how we found them in the beginning. It's a little creepy. I thought we were all gonna die or get eaten by tiny wood people.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, Decker, if you could maybe ask some of the women around town if you can find any. I'll try and apply some of us older folk and see if there's anything to note.
Decker, you want to give me a charisma check? And I guess same with you, Sir Jarek.
Oh, sorry, that was a saving throw.
Is it the same bonus?
It's the same thing, yeah.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
Yeah,
Okay, sure. Yeah,
I'll go bother.
So, are you just kind of picking someone that you're familiar with from your time here, or just kind of anybody?
Yeah, I mean, I should know most everyone in town.
Mhm.
For the most part, maybe not well, but typically, if there's anyone who's a little bit on the older side who wouldn't be out in the fields a lot, but would definitely be like gossiping about town as they do, I'd probably approach them first.
So, what's the general questions you would be asking?
Thor has a question for you. Just a question for you to ask people.
Well, do you want to come with Jarek? I mean,
It was just like one question. That's all it is.
What?
Just ask it. I want to know if anybody else has discovered this thing, or if they've had people disappear into the general area.
Yeah. So generic questions being, how are things with the whole war situation? How's everybody doing? You start with your small talk, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'd be like, oh yeah, have you had any disappearances or anything, or any weird going ons in the woods out there? On this nasty business, just you never know what's going to happen.
So the very quick information that you would be able to gather, and it seems that the old familiar veterans of this town have at least a moderate response to you, but a lot of the middle-aged folk, especially a lot of the men in this town, have been drafted for the war, called upon by the lord in charge of the land. The other small handful of young fighting men have gone off into the woods in hiding to not be drafted or pulled into war. So asking about mysterious disappearances, they would kind of be like, yeah, half the town just kind of vanished one night and we have no idea where they are. But that would be the general vibe or information I guess you would gather throughout your conversation. There'd be a lot of, kind of residual fringe things of, oh, that Margaret, she finally divorced that fat old man, and, so on and so forth, and kind of meandering around old people topics, but that would be what you would gather.
Whoever the hell I talk to is going to get 5 silver in a, thank you, it's been so long. Hope this helps your family in those, these hard times.
All right. Decker, is there anything in particular you are looking for besides that kind of general questioning?
That, and then I'm just curious about Jarek. I would ask what they knew about him being a hometown boy.
Nice.
So, getting kind of the same spiel of the, fighting men and where they're gone, and a vast majority of them kind of hiding away in the woodlands beneath the mountain. If you asked about Jarek, you would get somewhat varying, but not exactly hopeful reports of your companion. A lot of them would say that he was, fat and tired and old and miserable, that he was somewhat obnoxious as a tavern keeper, and the later part of his occupation here before he left, there'd be a lot of talk about his wife and her particular demeanor. Overall, it would, at least with the younger / middle-aged women that you would deal with or talk to, it seems that not a lot of them have a positive thing to say about Jarek.
Good to know.
And they would also explain that the understanding now is that he burnt his tavern down and then left and then randomly returned.
So they were clear that he burned his tavern down.
Yeah, I mean, so it would start as like, oh my god, Bethany, do you remember that when Jarek left? Like, it just burned down. It doesn't make any sense. And then like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. And he's so fucking weird. I'm sure he would do something like, he burned his tavern. Bethany, I know he burned his tavern. That makes sense. Yes, yes. And that would be your general conversation. The Giles Valley girls.
All right. Okay. Come back to Jarek. Well, that was... I'm not sure I got much useful information, Jarek.
Yeah, me either. It sounds like nothing outside of reason has occurred. You know, a lot of the younger men might be poking around in the woods, but you know, if we run into any of them, they'll probably be too busy trying to stay out of sight. Have to worry about them. Hopefully none of them wandered into Tormund's territory.
Well, we'll find... If they did, we'll find out what kind of fellow Tormund is nowadays. They're alive or turned into barbecue.
You know, I may not bear much love left for my hometown, but these are good people.
Yes, I mean, it's not like you'd want to burn the place down or anything.
Yeah, I should expect that. Okay.
I just shake him by his shoulder. Up. Just messing with you, Jarek. I'm sure you had your reasons. Place like this, it would drive me to do many things, the least of which not getting rid of it with fire.
You know, there was a lot to a lot to it, Decker. Let me just say, I hope you are more fortunate in your later years. I assume at this point we would have been walking and talking, bumped back into the group.
And it's a fair assumption I will be, Jarek. I've got looks and money on my side.
That you do, yeah.
What? I mean, that came off all wrong. You're doing fine. Look at you now. You're a mayor.
Decker.
Yeah.
I'm getting older. I'm tired. I've seen things I do not want to have seen. I celebrate you with your youth and your talent. Enjoy it. It does not always last. So it's okay to be happy for yourself. Many don't get that.
I have never seen a man more in need of a drink than you right now.
We're working, Decker. That can wait till at least we're halfway done. But if you want a nip, I think Jarek would have a flask. I think
that's the spirit.
Well, if there was a tavern in this town, you know.
There is. It's Martha.
That's right.
I have her name.
But anyway, as the two savants indulge in drink, What is Thor and Valorant doing?
I am standing behind Mr. Moon, giving him like some time to look at these stones, and then gonna talk to him, I assume.
Valorant,
I
are you
don't
doing
know.
anything at this time?
Just sticking with them, I also want to know the result of his assessment.
So Verkin would move from the carriage back to the stone a couple of times, bringing different instruments and whatnot to dive deeper into the stone. He brings like this little extended magnifying glass and then a few pads of paper and quill, and he spends maybe like 30 minutes, 45 minutes just trying to decipher what's written, comparing to the copy that he had, just kind of mentally thinking, sitting there kind of just in like thinking man pose, staring at the stone for quite some time. Eventually he would turn to you two and I cannot figure out too much precise information, but one thing that I have at least discovered, or my best guess, is that there is a delayer, a timer, some sort of clock written into the incantations or enchantments buried in the stone.
As in like a timer that doesn't end, or
Traditionally, when you're writing some sort of ritual circle or some sort of magical summoning, there is either a instantaneous rune or a symbol that represents time tied into it, whether that's the length of the spell or when the spell starts or what have you, just to help the caster have more options in his summoning. I don't know precisely what these symbols mean, but the way that they are placed and the ways that they pop up in the general writing of the stone, there was some sort of timer leading up to the effect that the stone has. So someone might have placed this here and then waited some time, and then the magical properties began.
Maybe potentially whoever cast the spell. Let's assume it's not, Ormond himself. Needed a specific amount of time, or a general amount of time, in order to trap Choramon in his current location, so then the spell would take effect. That's my best guess.
Well, you are the intellectual of this group, as far as I'm aware.
I know. Do you have like an etching of that or something?
Yes,
Or is
I
there
made
the one that-
another copy of it down in my book.
Okay. And do you have the one that JD got?
I also copied that one down, but he has the original copy.
Okay. Then maybe I'll get that from him. Is there anything like different between the two?
You mean on the two separate faces or the copies?
Yeah, the two different copies. Is there anything different about them?
Well, the one that Master Jarek passed on to me, it was rather shakily done, but it was passable, and once I figured out where the copy began, it was close enough that it was passable.
Do you think I could have a copy of yours then? Because I don't want a sloppy copy.
Yes, being precise is very important. I will get you a copy.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moon. I appreciate it.
I will keep studying the stones, I imagine. I was going to check out the other ones and see if they had any more insight.
Of course. Just let us know.
And then he would go back to studying.
And so I assume at some point I get a copy of.
Yeah. We can kind of just like
Yeah,
hand
yeah,
wave. There you
I
go.
just want to make sure I got a copy at some
Yeah,
point. Okay. Any thoughts change, Lord Valoran?
Part of me expected the stones to be meaningless. Or just some historical monument by past inhabitants. Seems your instinct was correct.
I would say the 2 times where it has been key, it was. But the first time didn't work out very well. Now my next thought is if I take this, I'm holding up the copy, and if we can bring this to friend, I wonder what he will think it is, since he's much more knowledgeable in the arcane. So maybe he might be able to tell us what it is, or what he thinks it is.
I'd like to give our scholar a chance to finish. If this is the lock on his prison, then being so direct about it, we may want to think twice.
No, yeah, I was gonna wait for him to finish before I went to maybe go find Friend. But I don't think that Friend can do anything from his current position. Otherwise, he probably would have done it already. He's had who knows however much time to do it.
No,
Yes.
but he may be able to do something to us as we are standing there asking him about it.
Yes, did he not bring your friend back from the dead? This.
Well, not from the dead. He took a part of him out of himself? Is that what happened? I feel like that's kind of what happened. He, cured him of... Is it called alcoholism?
He removed a curse.
Then he might very well be able to bestow a curse, so try not to make him mad, please.
No, yeah, he was the one that made the curse in the beginning, and then he removed the curse that he made.
So,
But
dangling the keys to his prison in front of him might not.
But also, he did tell us that the curse wasn't meant for us. We just so happened to find it on the person that I assume it was meant for.
How long do you reckon he's been locked up in this tower?
Last I remember, he had no perception of time.
So quite a while then. And then here comes 4 squishy mortals. With
Yeah.
the means to release him.
I told him I only lived 80 years, and he told me to get out because I was wasting my life here.
I'm just saying, I think that we should be very careful with what we say to him and what we tell him we have the ability to do.
Yeah. And my abilities are pretty obvious.
I was locked in prison for a week once and thought I was about to lose my mind.
You've been to jail.
You haven't?
No?
Feel sorry for you. You should get out more. Start living your life.
But isn't jail getting in? And yet the purpose is to not get out?
It's the consequences of failure. I got caught.
Oh.
What
Well, every time I've failed, I've just been beaten to death, so... It's not jail, it's just unconsciousness. But anyways... I did think about how, it's been a year. But he probably doesn't know it's been a year. Because he has no perception of time. So he might just think it's been 3 days, and suddenly here we are, back again.
Maybe no need to mention the time.
Well, I'm just saying. That's something that is to our benefit, is he has no perception of time. So he can't be like, you guys left me here for a year? Although I don't think he cares about the year, so...
As I recall, his recollection was rather spotty.
Yes, but I fixed that problem. Because I told him, and I hope he remembered, but I told him to have one of his little tree people write everything down.
So you gave him a way to perceive time better by keeping a record.
Well, now that you put it that way...
Okay, well, let's let Moon do his thing. Would anyone care for some after travel prestidigitation? I myself am dusty.
Yes.
Not a bad idea.
How
Okay.
warm or like cold is it right now?
It's pretty chilly. You're still very thoroughly in winter in the southern part of Asmiliath, so if I had to put a temperature on it, it's maybe like 45, 50 degrees right now.
Okay.
Are you still wearing your folk outfit?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably. I don't change clothes very often.
Gotcha. But yes, as Jarek goes around cleaning up the party, and the lengthy conversation that you all had, eventually your renowned scholar would kind of walk away from the stones, walking up to all of you. Gentlemen, I have, I guess, made all the discoveries that I can manage. It appears that the other stones are similar to the first, and I would conclude that there is some sort of magical abilities tied to them. Master Jarek, you did have that, telescope, did you not?
Yeah, I'll pull it out. I could...
What? I'll just take it and look through it.
So if you look at the two stones, or if you look at all three, you would see that the cracked one no longer glows with any sort of strange light, but the tall one and the short one are rather bright, with various different schools of magic kind of swirling all together. It almost gives the surface of the stone, which already has a bit of like moss and grime kind of growing up the bottom of it, but it gives wherever the stone peeks through this kind of odd, shimmering, like constantly shifting texture to it, and it kind of flows up and down the length of the stone, and clearly makes it so that the two stones that are intact are somewhat magical in your eyes.
Holy roly. They're magical. JD.
No shit, they're magical. We already know that. Thank you.
No, but can't you identify things?
Yeah, that's a rock. That's a wagon.
It's a magic rock.
I can't do those things anymore, Thor.
Do we have nobody that can identify things?
Perhaps we could go to a nearby city and acquire a sorcerer or a wizard that could, and that way we are not stumbling around in the dark. Hypothetically.
Should have hired an identified wizard.
We're already here. Let's I don't know. Let's see if we can maybe strike a bargain with Toromon. That way he doesn't immediately go on a rampage and is at least agreed to cool it for a while. Works with the king.
I'm going to talk to him anyways, so sure.
Okay. Y'all mentioned you have to be out of there by what, sundown?
Yup. What time is it?
Getting
Or
there
it's
like
midnight.
4.
Isn't it midnight or sundown?
It's midnight,
Yeah.
but it's about 4 o'clock right now.
And how far away roughly is it? If we remember.
It took you guys, I think it was a day previously, and that was following the flask that was acting as a compass.
Which we do not have. I mean, either way, if we don't go today, then it's gonna be, basically nighttime by the time we get there tomorrow. So I vote that if we can't learn anything else here, and I don't believe there are any nearby cities.
No,
Might not.
we're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. So identifying these things just isn't gonna happen because nobody around here is probably magical. So my vote is we start heading that way so that at least hopefully we can make it by midday, half midday, sometime in the afternoon tomorrow.
I mean, if y'all want to stay the night, I do have rooms available for 5 gold a night, and he'll gesture over to the burnt out foundation right next to them.
You charged 5 gold?
Oh, Thor, it's high demand right now. You're not going to get these rooms anywhere else.
It's a fire sale, Thor.
Okay. Wow.
So Brandon would put himself into this conversation at this point, kind of looking you all over and trying to, again, familiarize himself with the happenings of this group. May I ask if I am supposed to accompany you all to this Tawa force field location? Or am I
Actually would recommend that you stay here in the town.
I'd slip off my family ring and hand it to Brendan. Yes, if we're incinerated, would you make sure this gets back to my sister?
Certainly. So I guess I will function under the orders of fiery death, leave town.
You'll probably see it.
You'll know it when you see it, type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, you all are so brave. Really living up to the Golden Hot name.
Can I tell if he's being serious?
You can insight check him.
Yeah. Also, don't we have a healer?
So the rest of the caravan is gathering at that crossroad. They're not with you currently.
Nice. All right.
That is
no, but
uncanny.
I know.
How many times have you rolled a 0 for your insight?
I can remember 2 distinct times now. No, but I had a question. Would a healer know the identify spell?
No. It would be a rather high-end, wizard or sorcerer, which I think you guys voted against getting.
We did. Why? We'll never know.
How often do we need it?
Right now, every
Okay.
time we encounter a magical item,
To be fair, every time I used identify, the results were minimal.
shots fired.
Yeah, it's not like you figured out Thor's backstory with it or anything, huh?
So,
As I'm just hanging out looking at my gloves of looting.
All right, well then, I need to. Why? Oh.
You wanted this audio in your ear. You're welcome.
It will save you all one day, and you'll thank me.
Okay.
Well, if I am destined to stay in the town, might I recommend that you set off this evening and arrive there in the morning, and that way you can have as much time as you need with your friend?
Yeah, that was my plan.
Yes,
But
I
you
just didn't know if everybody was
precisely.
going.
You want us to tramp around in the woods in the dark at night?
I think that the Golden Hots have enough at their disposal to manage that problem.
I would have Aurora come flutter in front of his face. Jarek's, that is.
Goddamn bird.
There is also the magical orb that produces light.
Daylight. There's also don't you know a light spell?
No, Thor. No.
What do you do nowadays?
I suffer, Thor. Okay, yes. Yeah, fine. Let's go out into the woods.
Well, if you all die in a horrible incineration, I wish you all the best. It's been an excellent adventure thus far.
Been pretty lit.
Alright, so is the party setting off into the woodlands in the general direction of the tower? So, Valorant and Thor being the only ones here that have been there before, do you want to give me... do a survival check. Alright. Are you guys using any sort of light sources, or just charging forth?
I can't see in the dark, so yeah.
Pocket
Some form of light source, pocket sun, torches.
Just use that orb since
Yeah.
you've got it.
Doesn't it last for 8 hours?
It's indefinite because Nathan did not put a time limit on it.
I mean, it's a light.
Yeah, and
It's a giant
as we're riding along, I'll just kind of tether my horse to Valorant's or to somebody's and just stay connected to Aurora, just circling in front of the party, slightly ahead.
Okay. You want to give me a perception check with Aurora then?
Okay.
Also, can you feel your body while you're inside Aurora?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is wrong with you?
And that would be an advantage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Or perception.
All right. So as the party leave Thrice Tower, leaving behind their modest caravan, heading off into the woodlands that Jarek relatively is familiar with at some point. I don't know how athletic or outgoing or nature-orientated he was during his time as a tavern keeper, but as you all begin ascending the landscape at the foot of the mountains through the kind of dense forest that is there, Decker, as you use Aurora to kind of get a general, broader view of the landscape that you're moving through, I imagine during the various tellings and stories of their first interaction with Chorman, they might have explained somewhat the location they found him in. So you would spot a few different small clearings kind of off in the general direction ahead of you. And as you're peering around with Aurora, you would spot a very small, recently tamped out fire in one of the clearings, just a small bit of residual smoke kind of wafting into the air from it. And then there's a larger clearing a bit farther up the gentle slope towards the mountains where you would probably guess fits the general description of the location of Chorman as has been described to you.
So snap back. Gentlemen, it appears as if we're closing in on our destination. Prior, though, it looks like there's a recently doused fire. Seemed like it was a small one.
Probably some of the villagers.
Might be worth checking.
Nevertheless, be on the guard.
So after I relayed that, I would go back and I would just circle the area of the fire with the bird, see if I can see anything. Okay. So kind of focusing in on that area specifically, sending Aurora out to your limit and kind of getting the best view that you can. What you can roughly discern as you're hitting the late evening hours of the day and the sun is setting and nighttime's beginning to actually take hold, you see a group of maybe 4 or 5 humanoid figures kind of functioning around where the fire had been put out. There appears to be a few different bits of fabric and structure kind of constructed around where the fireplace was, and now that it's getting night, they're kind of settling into various housing or shelters, I guess I should say. But that'd be the general view that you would see. I would pass that along.
JD, what are your people called? Like, are they called like Thracians or like Thrice Towerers?
We live in Giles' kingdom, so we're Gillians?
Gillians?
Gillians? Or Gillians. I mean, it's...
Oh, so it's
still
just
part of the kingdom.
It's just a standard thing across the board. You don't have like your own thing.
Isn't that a woman's name? You're Gillians.
You insult an entire country, sir.
My apologies.
Wouldn't you be like the llamas or something like that?
Liamites, maybe. I mean, at least with Valoran, they're the folk of folk. It's...
Hey! We are the folk of folk.
Or you didn't even know you were folkish until recently.
Doesn't change anything.
Anyway, so why do you ask?
Well, if we have to address these people, we don't want them to just instantly be hostile and try to kill us, because I don't really want to kill your townspeople or knock them unconscious. I'm not going to kill them, obviously.
We'll just scream out with free beer and they'll come running.
Do we even have beer?
No, but I mean, we're not planning on giving them anything. You just want to talk to them, right?
I think that's a little more deceptive and may lead to violence.
Yeah, they ran away from a war. I don't think they're going to look to start a fight.
Oh, is that what they're doing out here?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't explain it earlier. They didn't want to go get conscripted, so they hid out in the woods. Which, I can't blame them. I'm pretty sure I did the same thing in my youth. It happens.
Pretty terrible thing to do.
Still alive. Can't say that for Johnny.
It's a little harsh. What if Johnny was me?
Then Johnny would still be alive. I mean, look at you. Just...
Okay, but if I was Johnny and you were like, Thor, I like you a lot, but you're going to battle like a good person, fight for your country, and then you're just like, okay, bye.
Well, I never got to say goodbye. I ran away before he left.
That's pretty terrible.
Right, so... You want to talk to them? We want to skip over them?
Well, I don't want them to think that we're just some weird people stalking through the woods. I'd rather they just know that we're passing through. And, say hi. Maybe shame them.
With the path that you were all set upon, you could rather easily avoid them and not interact with them and still head towards your destination, but they're not so far off the path that it'd be like a detour.
It's up to you guys. I don't really care either way.
It's nighttime. It's probably not the best time to be making introductions. They're likely to be asleep. So we'll leave them that way.
Agreed.
All right. Speaking of which, you should probably camp out soon.
Is the party's plan to get closer destination and then camp out, or camp out midway?
Yeah, if we get closer, can we still rest?
Yes.
Yeah. Get as close as we can, and then get rest.
Okay.
As you noble to say, sally forth.
So as the party moved through the forest during the night using the pocket sun and the guiding eyes of Aurora, the moon beginning to ascend into the sky as the various nocturnal noises or wildlife begin to pick up, eventually you would get perhaps maybe an hour or two away from your destination is your best guess, kind of using Decker's owl to get the best summary of where you roughly are beneath the mountain. And it's probably about 11 or 12 at night, almost exactly midnight. So if the party wanted to camp out here and wait until dawn or early morning to set off, that would roughly be the plan.
Sounds good.
All right. I'm going to say it's probably best to take an early 10-minute break. That way we're not approaching Shoreman and then getting cut off. So does that all work for you? So as dawn breaks into the next day, this would be January 19th, for those of you keeping track at home. The sun is just barely hidden behind the horizon as you all stir from your somewhat mediocre slumber for the night. But it very much is the last leg of the journey. If there were any conversations or questions or second guesses to be had, now would be the time before you strike forth towards your potential fiery demise.
Any reply from Croak?
That is a good question. Do you, if it potentially spoils something, would you want that in the session?
I mean, I did send him a message. It would be bad of me to not at least check it.
All right.
And yes, that's fine if it's...
So yes, in the morning you would have received a message from your lovely companion. Let's see. I'm going to do this off the cuff.
The real question here: does Thor fight me to
I always
listen
leave
to
that
it?
up to you guys. However you want to dictate that.
If Thor's
Dexterity
using... Oh god, I'll do it. I'll see if it'll work.
You gotta be a 6, so.
Dexterity check.
Yeah.
Sweet. Off to a great start. So
No,
Thor,
just
No. I'll just hold it up. I'll listen to it.
okay.
Why not?
Jarek, we've been worried with your absence of responses. That's one word. Halaski is still missing. Please don't die. We'll get a mayor. That's 20. So that's what you get.
What does it say?
What the? Your wife is missing?
No. The important stuff.
Wait, what? What do you mean? I feel like that's pretty important.
Anything about the town?
Yeah, he said don't die. Something about they don't want to find a new mayor. Or like they'd have to find a new mayor. They've been worried about your lack of responses.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine then. As long as nothing's wrong. Okay.
I would essentially recite the message that I just heard.
Okay.
Wait, how long has your wife been missing?
Thor, I'm not married. And
Okay,
that
how
bitch-
long?
And
How long has your ex-wife been missing? Ex-wife.
you know what? Thor,
Ex-
that bitch can rot in eternal limbo for all I care.
Seems a little harsh.
Yeah, well, a lot of things are a little harsh.
Did I miss something? I feel like something happened.
Yes, Thor, you missed breakfast. Let's break. Let's get the hell out of here.
Okay.
Did we hear that, or was it just the two of them?
I can't imagine we're being quiet and it's a small camp.
Yeah.
I'd say the group probably heard that conversation.
Whisper over to Valoran. Think the old boy may have killed her. Remind me not to make that one angry.
Don't know if he would have done that. It would have been too easy for her.
And go over extra friendly. Well, Jarrett, good morning.
Yeah, good as any.
Thor, we all ready to make a god or whatever it is very happy with us today?
Absolutely. I've never been more excited for anything in my entire life.
Quite a statement.
Hold on, I have to do something really quick, and I'll walk away out of earshot.
Thor, what?
I'm busy, okay? I have to go find Buffy. We have to have our morning chat.
Okay.
And I'm gonna send a message to Krug.
Okay.
Krug, it's Thor. Don't worry about JD. He is dramatic. How long has his wife been gone? Is it 20 or 25?
20.
I'm concerned.
All right.
And then I actually will go find Buffy and have our morning talk.
Okay. Is there anything insightful you're going to say to Buffy?
Yes. Not really. I mean, I don't know what your definition of insightful is for Thor,
I mean,
but...
are you saying anything unique or new or fresh or different, or is it just like, hey, what's up? You still mysterious?
No, it's-
Okay.
It's gonna be like, Buffy, I think we're about to go set free a god, maybe. You want to come with us? Because, I feel like you have something weird going on with you, and maybe he could fix or figure out what's up with you. Thoughts?
Give me a wisdom check.
Of course.
It can't be wor- Buffy would stare into your eyes for a few seconds, seeming to mull over the question, and then return to searching for grubs under some logs.
Okay, well, you're gonna follow us into the thing because I told you to just now. As your leader, I am commanding you. But I love you, and if you don't, I'll forgive you.
Alright.
Now, sit there, say a morning prayer, and head back.
Alright. Any other thoughts or conversations with the party before departure?
I guess I'll take a moment to myself as well, inspired by Thor, and just kind of take just a few steps away from the group and turn my back and just sort of look up and say, Rovika, we have yet to... Well, we don't have the relationship that Thor claims to have. But if you have an opinion about Charman, now would be a time to give me a sign.
Give me a wisdom check and an intelligence check. As you reach out, a bit of uncertainty in your words, question, statement. There's a few seconds that pass after you finish, I guess, either speaking or thinking. And your blood would begin to warm. Your body would seem to just start kind of heating up somewhat unnaturally for a very brief time. You just get this, like, small surge of, like, well, that's weird, almost like you were being, like, put under anesthesia or something, and then it would fade.
He just sort of sigh and rejoin the group.
Anything else, Golden Hearts?
Would I get any new tingles?
You want to give me a wisdom check, sir?
Always. One day, I'll roll a 19.
Nope.
Not today. Okay.
Anyone else want to say their goodbyes?
Just polish my sword.
Goodbyes to each other.
Is there anything different with Carl?
Not that you have noticed.
Okay. I'll just pack up everything.
Are you guys, I haven't asked this earlier, I probably should. Are you on horseback or are you traveling on foot currently?
I thought we were on horse.
It's up to you. Yeah.
I don't know which one's better in the woods, but
He would be familiar enough and slow going enough that it wouldn't really matter.
okay.
But yes, so mount back up on your steeds and continue onwards. All
Yep.
right. So
Keep an eye
as
out
the
for
sun, as the sun just breaks the horizon and the first light of the day begins to spill onto the rising mountains before you, Decker again using Aurora to kind of keep an eye on that clearing that you are heading towards, kind of guiding and directing the party as they go forward. Eventually, after about an hour of travel, you all, clomping through the woods on your various mounts, Thor, you would feel Carl kind of like shifting around on your shoulder. Before taking a moment to listen in, you hear a somewhat familiar sound of just rustling branches and bushes and trees and limbs. And then you begin to kind of look around, and as you're glancing around, you would begin spotting various somewhat familiar copies or clones of Carl kind of shifting around the branches nearby.
Oh, here we go.
Carl
happening.
starts like frantically doing this for like every single one that he can spot as he is mounted upon your shoulder. Traveling even farther forward, a few of them would start kind of swinging down from low branches, kind of settling on the heads of your horses or on your own shoulders, kind of almost greeting all the various party members in a somewhat friendly manner, not very being too scared about being rather physical with you all.
I'd like hold my arms out, high five one, maybe accidentally push it off, and be like, oh, my bad.
As you grow closer and closer to the clearing, eventually, who's in the lead? I guess I should ask.
I probably would be.
Okay. So Thor, as you're finally able to kind of peer through the trees forward, and you can see a more exposed bit of sunlight kind of reaching your eyes, you begin to hear that very distant, low, thundering rumble. Excuse me. The sounds of a small storm beginning to pick up as you progressively keep plodding closer and closer to the clearing.
I don't know if you guys want to take your horses in there, because the last time the tree picked up Valorant's horse, and I never quite got around to asking his horse how he felt about that. But if you want to go in on foot, we can.
Is there the sounds of a stream or anything nearby?
Want to give me a perception check?
You see a stream anywhere?
There's a fair amount of them kind of sprawling off of the mountain and into the woodlands, so at any given time you're not too far from a stream, whether it's a very small bit of water or more of a creek. So if you needed to, you could find one somewhat nearby. Jarek, you were too distracted by the sounds of potential thunder and doom to pick out a stream or bubbling water.
Well, Thor, if we're gonna do anything like that, we should probably, leave them somewhere they can graze and drink. But
Is it pretty clear, like, where his tower is? Is there like, I can't remember if there was just like a clearing, because I feel like it was just a clearing tower.
It's about like a 60-foot clearing, like all the way across from one tree line to the next, and it just appears to be a flat, rather blank area of grass in the middle of the woodlands.
Okay. I mean, we can leave them outside. I'm sure they'll be fine. And, we can probably tie them to the giant tree person. Hopefully he just doesn't move, because that would be awkward. Or, I don't know. Valorant seems to have some weird connection with Belgrees, so he could just tell him to herd the horses. Or I could tell the horses to stay there, because I can talk to them.
oh,
Belgrees can look after them.
Okay, well, that works too.
Can't you? And I'll just sort of give him a pat.
Belgers would kind of like do a few more steps in a kind of showboaty manner, and then kind of like nod his head in the direction of the horses that he is flanking.
Gotcha.
They'll be
Well,
safer than we will.
That is, yep. Can't argue with that. Onward! And I'll trudge into the clearing.
So as you finally break free of the tree line, stepping out into this clearing, that growing thunderstorm begins to actually accumulate in the sky above you. These dark, thick, black clouds rapidly setting in on this otherwise very clear morning that appeared to be any other day. And as the rumbling and the crashing of thunder and lightning begins to get more and more severe, taking up more and more of your senses, you would eventually, as your horse breaks free and moves about 10 or 15 feet deeper, hear the thundering, booming, enhanced voice that you had heard the first time approaching the tower. Who dares go here?
Oh, hello, friend. How are you?
Friend. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Oh, Goliath! Is that you?
Yeah. Friend, what's up? How's it going?
What a day! What a day! And then you see the, like, booming, thunderous clouds just, like, evaporate into the sky. All the sounds just washing away. And then you're just like, what? Come on! Come to the door! Quick, quick!
Yep, on my way. Come on, guys.
Well, that certainly went better than expected. Well done, Thor.
Wait
I
until
told you.
we are leaving.
He's my best friend.
That's right, because your last best friend died.
Hey, don't bring it up.
So Thor, as you break through the illusionary wall and are presented with the old, tall, stout tower that you'd seen before, with the singular door set into the base with the small, like, metal, smaller door. That's a horrible way of describing that you had seen before. You would see the little flap has been opened up, and there's a very distant purple eye peering through the little circle, and there's just like a little bit of like frantic movement, as it seems to almost be like rocking back and forth as you grow closer. And then I guess the party, if you are following behind him, would eventually also break through the illusionary wall and be presented with the tower. Jarek and Decker, this would be your first time witnessing it.
Looking around, pretty amazed.
So Thor, do you approach the door?
Yeah. I'd be like, friend, what's up? How's it going? How are you? It's
You get about 10 or 15 feet away, you would hear the clack, 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 and then the door would begin to open, and you would be met with the long-lost sight of your best friend, Choraman, a very tall, 7-8 foot dragonborn that wears a luxurious long purple robe, has red scales covering his draconic features, and these vibrant purple eyes that used to match one of the party members but no longer does. And he would open up the door with a strange smile on his rather elongated snout, and he has his hands kind of clasped into his sleeves once the door begins to swing open freely. And as you peer behind him, the light of the day kind of shining into that rather blank storeroom you had seen when you first witnessed this tower, you would see that the entirety of the wall behind him is covered in paper with very intricate scribblings on it that you can't quite make out at this distance, but he just like kind of stands tall, filling out this doorway with his frame. And Goliath, it has been some time. Oh, I am so welcome. I did not think you were going to return, but I have done as you say, and I have kept great and meticulous records.
I'm telling you, it's the best way to keep track of everything, since you seem to live for a super long time, and I want you to remember everything, so then, you can be super smart, even though you're already super smart.
I have run out of paper sometimes, and so I have to use some of the previous day's papers to keep track of these days, but it is doable. And I am Human Valoran, you have also returned. But very good, very good. You are missing, where is the dwarf?
Yeah, Rolly. He had a lot of things that he wanted to fix back where he came from. And so he actually left us to go to Bronze Shard and try to settle some business there.
Well, hopefully he's enjoying his new lease on life.
I think he is. I think he's trying to make the most of it.
You've seemingly
'Cause,
replaced the dwarf with 2 boring humans.
Well, yeah, Okay, hold on. Introductions. All right. This is Jarek Dissel. He's a mayor. This is the guy that we told you about last time who wasn't here because he was possessed by somebody else. So we think. And then this is Decker.
Before he says my name, I would step forward. Decker Caspian, and then in Draconic, I would say, "Glory to you and your house, Ancient One."
Well, not a boring human, I see.
And this, and I'll point to friend, is Telbius Skydra Quamodid Sirgrim Garivog Andrig, also known as friend.
Well, welcome. Did you bring your water?
My water.
Yes. I forgot to make tea last time, but now that you have water, we can make tea.
I definitely have water.
Splendid. Well, come inside. Can these new humans fly?
No, none of them can. At least I don't. Decker, can you fly?
No, but... And then I have my bird. She can. And
So
I
they
can
can't fly.
DC, so... Kind of, but not really.
I shall
But
get
if you
big
could
then.
make me fly, Well, hold on. Forget I spoke. Don't make me fly.
All right. Shall we go back up to the seating area? It's the only room that's presentable right now. I've been rather frantic.
Yeah, would you rather I climb, or do you want to use the other method?
Thor, just join the rest of us.
I'm asking him. It's for his enjoyment, obviously.
What happened to the old human man, the angry one?
Oh. Just look at Valor.
He has died.
Pity. I was going to play Dragon Chess with him again.
Well, I might be up for a game later on. I also play.
If we play, are you going to die?
What?
Not according to the rules that I was taught.
Then we
I think
shall
he
play.
I think he just meant because he played Marcus and Marcus died. Yeah.
The two were unrelated.
That seems to make sense. Yes. Anyway, yes. Come inside. Stay outside. I'll
Yep.
get big.
All right.
So as he says this, Jarek and Decker, you would not be familiar with such a sight, but Thor and Valoran, you would be very comforted to see the large 12-foot tall version of Carl begin to stomp out of the woodlands surrounding the clearing, his very large natural wooden circular head kind of floating above the tree line ever so slightly before he fully emerges into the opening and then begins trundling towards the four of you. And he just starts like holding his arms out low in this like scooping gesture as he approaches you all.
Just let it happen.
So he would kind of like take his large arms and just kind of guide you all into a very close, like standing position, and then lay his hands out on the ground where a bunch of roots begin to like weave beneath your feet, digging into the ground ever so slightly before like kind of captivating the bottom of your feet, and then just begins raising the four of you up out of the ground as he naturally also begins to grow. You just hear like as his body stretches higher and higher next to the tower. Choraman kind of giving you a little wave from the door before he darts inside and begins lifting himself up, but you would all find yourself carried up to the 7th floor before very gently allowed to step into the large window. So, letting you all out on the rather comfortable floor that is covered in very elegant, ornate, and rather old in appearance pillows and cushions and blankets. The walls are covered in this rather fine, thick red satin that just gives the entire circular room this very welcoming feeling as you are let in. And then, just to make sure the description is fulfilled, the center of each of these circular rooms going down and up into the tower, there's about a 10-foot diameter hole in each floor that allows Shoreman to levitate up and down his home. So that would be the situation you find yourself in.
I would take a seat, pull out, assumedly, a water skin of some sort that I would have.
So as you all settle, you would begin hearing the flipping of paper kind of growing closer and closer before you see the head of Chorman kind of levitating out of the ground, and he has a thick bundle of papers in his hand. He's like, well, I thought that it would be rather interesting for you all to hear about the goings-on here. 1 AD, you all left, and then 2 AD, I wrote down everything that I could remember about what you had told me, and then 3 AD, I sat there and stared out the window wondering if you would return, because you told me you were going to return and then you did not, and then 4 AD, and then he just begins, like, going day by day by day through his papers, kind of lost in his little explanation.
How many days include the stare out the window because you said you would return?
That doesn't include every day, but it is a rather consistent pattern. About every week or so, there's about 2 or 3 days of just waiting.
All right, Fred. I get it. It's been a while. You know, I've been trying so hard.
47 AD, there was a small red bird at the edge of the clearing, and I found it very humorous, and I laughed. And then 43 AD.
Okay, I get it. We haven't been here for a while. I tried to get them to all come here, but they're all so afraid of you. I have no idea why. But anyways, I've also been doing some digging into your situation. Yeah.
Well, let me go make tea then. He kind of grabs the water skin from you and then just begins descending down the floors.
Ah. Oh, friend. Don't you guys love him?
We're not dead yet.
He is insane.
I mean, JD, if you were locked up in a tower for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, wouldn't you go crazy too?
That doesn't make it better.
I mean,
Quite
actually,
companionable for an insane person or whatever he is.
yep. He's very nice. That's why we called him friend.
But before he comes back, what is our goal here, other than to have tea and chit-chat?
To tell him of my findings, get his thoughts.
Work
And-
towards that, and see if we can get on some sort of track here.
What? I mean, I'm gonna tell him my findings, and then I'm gonna see what he thinks, and then I'm gonna see if he remembers anything, and then I'm gonna tell him about why we weren't here. You know, because there's a reason we didn't come back, because we have been dealing with Toradan, Novan stuff. The bird did just remind me to ask him about the squirrel, because that's a little weird. And then, did Buffy come with us or not?
Buffy followed you to the edge of the clearing and then, if you weren't keeping track, vanished. Or stopped following you. One of the two.
I was gonna ask him about Buffy.
What? That's the word. Let's Why don't we secure his assistance in exchange for his freedom first, or in a nicer way?
Well, I mean, that was one of the points. Yeah, it was like I've heard some crazy things, and I don't want to die necessarily. So can we be on your good side if we figure out how to set you free? Which I'm pretty sure I know how to set them free.
Do you have your notes?
Yeah, I have the note that Mr. Moon gave to me. It's a lot better than yours, is what he told me.
Well, I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, who wrote your note?
As you
People.
are speaking, you would see the head of Chorman appear again, and as he floats back up to the level, you see his hands are kind of cupped like this in front of him, and as you glance a bit more closely, you realize that he's poured the water into his hands, and there's various bits of leaves kind of drifting throughout the water, but it is bubbling and boiling as if it has been heated up. It's like, I have not had a tea kettle in quite some time, so I also don't have any cups. If you would all just like to, we could pass it around.
I mean, you can put it back in the water skin that I have. As long as it's not gonna burn it. You don't think it'll burn it?
It's quite hot. If you want to,
I can create a non-magical trinket that fits in my hand. With prestidigitation, that'll last. Oh, never mind. It'll only last for 6 seconds.
Hurry up and drink it. I'll just, while we're debating, I'll just go over and I'll bend over and I'll blow on his hands and sip out of his hands.
So as you blow across the boiling liquid, he seems to look down with an amused look, just very peculiarly watching your motions. And then you take a sip, and it is a intensely bitter, rather sticky liquid as it goes through your mouth and then hits your tongue. It is also still very, very hot, way beyond a comfortable level of heat for any sort of tea or coffee or anything. But if you do drink it, it would stick to your lungs a bit.
It's very good. You should all try some.
Well, I plan to. Is there a way you can cool it off a little bit? It seems a little hot.
My hands are rather,
I can offer some assistance with that one, if you will.
Yes.
Friend, as you say, do you have some cups? If lacking a tea kettle, if you have a cup.
I have small vials, but they're for blood samples.
Okay. And Jarek will walk over and prestidigitate the liquid, a little cooler, at a light chill, kind of.
So you would reach out with your prestidigitation and feel it connect to the liquid, and some of the bubbling would subside for a moment. But as soon as your effect ends, you would see it kind of steam once more and then begin bubbling almost immediately afterwards.
Are you heating that with your hands?
I am a little warmer than humans, I think. Or dwarves. Are dwarves warmer than humans?
We never really discussed that with Rolly.
Here, and Jarek will drain the last of his little flask of whatever and kind of dip it into.
Can I pour it on the floor?
No, drink it. I'm gonna chug it down. This is whatever is about to happen. And he'll kind of fill it up in the liquid awkwardly, I guess.
Yeah, he kind of I guess make a separation with his palms for it to drizzle through.
Thank you, honored one.
Yes, human. I mean, Jarek? Jarek.
Yes, thank you.
You can call him JD if that's easier.
Unless he's memorable, I won't even remember his real name.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. Thank you so much for the tea and little bit, and just kind of hand the flask out to the others.
I'll take it happily. I'll drink it. Does it taste any different to me?
No, it is still intensely bitter, very, very warm to the point where like the metal flask you're touching is kind of heated up, and yeah, very uncomfortable as it settles in your stomach.
Wow, that really packs a punch.
Yes.
How long have you had these leaves for? Oh, right.
A long time.
Yeah. Forgot. Well, anyways, would you like to know why I've
Human,
returned?
Valorant, are you not going to have tea?
Oh, I can hand him.
Very well, thank you.
Humans enjoy tea, that's what I have heard.
And I will make my best attempt to just drink it like normal tea, straight up, no reaction.
Splendid. Goliath?
Yes. So I've made some discoveries about your situation. Like, why you're here, why you may not be able to remember things, why we were able to find you after all this time. And I'll pull out the piece of paper. Can you read this?
I looks down at it. Yes.
Okay, what does it say?
Kind of like reaches down with his taloned fingers and very delicately grabs the paper from you and holds it up. It's an enchantment. A rather good one at that. Did you do this, Goliath? Are you learning?
No, I can't do it. I don't even know what that means, actually. I wish I did, but
I could teach you to read.
really?
Could
Like
you
right
do-
now?
Like, we've been trying to teach him, well, Valorant has anyway, for months, and with limited success.
You've only spent months?
Well, you remember I only live 80 years.
Oh, yes. Oh, my lord. Oh. My
I wouldn't
apologies.
say
This
the
is-
success was limited. It was success.
Yes.
I'm sure you're doing a splendid job, Goliath and human. Months of effort. Fantastic.
Thank you. But anyways, so
It
what
takes
does...
quite some time to learn how to read this. I imagine, well, it took me, quite some time.
So what is it? What does it say? Like, what kind of enchantment is it?
Well, it seems to be some sort of, there's only little bits here, so it's a little bit hard to discern, but, if I was to fill out the rest, some illusion magic, some invisibility, rather fun, some, conditions.
Yeah, somebody who is way smarter than me at, the arcane things, they told me that it had something to do with there was a time trigger to it, or it seemed like there was a timed portion to it.
Yes, that is correct.
So what does it say about the time, or does it say anything about the time?
Well, it seems that it was set for maybe a few days after it was cast for it to take full effect. It's a rather short timer.
Yeah, especially for you.
Indeed.
Now,
Stones.
yeah, I'm getting to that. So,
I had a visitor while you were gone.
Did he have orange hair?
No.
Okay. Or red hair? I just wanted to make sure.
What shade of red?
I don't know, like brownish red. Did he have a giant yellow eye?
No.
Okay. What did he look like?
Oh, he was a human.
Yeah, but
His name was
You're-
Tyler. That's his name. I gave him a
Tyler?
gift.
oh no. What kind of gift did you give him?
Well, he was suffering from, what do you call it? Cowardice?
Uh-huh.
So I gave him armor.
Okay, and what did the armor do?
Do you want to know, Goliath?
Oh, jeez. Fred, what did you do to this poor Tyler?
I was teaching Tyler a lesson. That's why he came to me.
Yeah.
That's how he found me. He needed a lesson.
Okay, so what does it do?
It lets all other metal pass through it.
What? Wait, you made an armor that doesn't work as armor?
Indeed.
You didn't tell him, did you?
No, I did not.
What-
But he looked
do you think
mighty
he would-
fine.
Do you think he would figure it out?
That's the point.
Jarek is shooting very concerned glances at Decker and Valoran, like,
Do you want a gift, Goliath?
Well, I already got Carl.
Mm.
Are you gonna give me a gift that's gonna end up like almost killing me? Because I feel like the armor could potentially result in that guy dying.
Well, either way, he would learn the lesson.
That's true, but he would be dead.
Well, then his next life will learn the lesson.
Friend, we don't get next lives.
I think we should agree to disagree.
Okay.
Okay.
But what is this new gift?
I don't know. I'd have to figure out what lesson you would need. You seem rather simple.
I feel like I'm pretty complicated. For instance, I figured out why. Well, I'm pretty sure I figured out how you're trapped here, and it has to do with that thing. I'll point to the piece of paper he's holding.
Okay.
See, so here, let me explain to you. So there are 3 rocks, right? And they're like shooting out of the ground, and I'll try to make my fingers so that like one's shorter than the next one. So they all look like, a little talon that's a little longer. Yeah. And one of them, JD, accidentally broke.
Oh,
right?
That's not good.
Yeah, well, you would think. And then, around the time when the tower broke, I started hearing rumors about you and people seeing you. And you said it has to do with invisibility.
Fun coincidence, yes.
I don't think it's a coincidence.
How close is this triangle summoning?
To here?
Yes.
It's like half a day away.
What's that mean?
Being a native of the area, what would that roughly translate into distance?
That's a tall order. I'm gonna guess like 20 miles, 30 miles.
Roughly 20, 30 miles.
It takes you half a day to travel that distance. And you live 80 years.
Listen, I don't fly. I don't, I imagine you can probably like flash yourself all over the place if you wanted to, but I can't do that.
But
No, I have to
I
walk.
can't. I live in this tower. I can't flash anywhere.
Well, yeah, well, you see, I'm trying to fix that. But anyway, so I feel like these towers are connected to your current situation, and if we break the other 2 towers, then you're probably gonna remember a lot of things. And I might be able to free you from your current circumstance.
Interesting. Human, Decker, how do you speak?
How do I speak?
The How do you speak not the human?
And I say in Draconic, you mean Draconic?
Yes, it's rather, curious that they've named it after those beasts, but okay, yes.
I learned it in primary school. Well,
They teach that
primary
in
school
schools.
No, I was learning to become the very beginnings of a wizard, but I wasn't very good at it. But I did learn the language and a few small abilities.
What are these abilities?
Well, and I'd message him without talking. This, for instance.
Not all humans can do that?
No, quite few of us, actually.
It is astounding that you all have made it this long.
I couldn't agree more.
Human, Jarek. Jarek? JD? Jarek?
Yes.
Kind of stares at you intently, and then you hear in your brain, are you able to send messages?
Answering out loud. Yes, but only for long distance purposes. They ride the winds of my song notes and can reach beings whether they are in this plane or the next.
What is a song?
Do you not have music in your tower?
This is a foreign word.
In true pity fills Jarek as he's like, "Oh, allow me." And, he'll give a nice little rendition of the old Golden Hearts tune.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn a lucky die and see if I can get it even higher. I wanted this to be really nice for him.
Wow.
Fuck me. Okay, whatever.
So as you pull out, is it a lute you're playing currently, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The very nice, intricate one I had so graciously received.
As you pull out your lute and begin to strum, you see just bewilderment kind of take over his features. There's this like enrapturing curiosity as he just like stares down in awe at your instrument, and he's just like hyper focuses in, doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything, doesn't even move, just staring at your fingers.
And as Jack finishes, I am so sorry. You were alone without at least entertainment.
Well, I've had entertainment, I have me. You are quite fantastical. I shall remember your name.
I thank you.
Can I keep Jarek?
Honestly, it would be kind of funny if you could.
No.
But he's a little too fearful of everything, and also remember.
He's a coward.
No.
Yeah, let's not lie. Yes, and I'm okay with being a coward. I don't need to learn otherwise. I accept this.
Oh, so you're also an
about
underachiever.
Also accepted about myself.
You seem to have some lessons that need to be learned.
I'll save them for the next life. I'm near my end anyways. It's okay.
I mean,
Yes.
he's not really a coward. He's actually killed men.
Decker, shut up. I do not want him to think I am brave and give me something brave to do.
But also, you can't keep him because remember the rule about being here after midnight?
I just send him out at night and then get him in the morning.
Oh, I guess that's true. Well, I don't see a reason you can't keep him.
It's settled. I'll keep Jarek.
I'm just kidding. You can't have him. But maybe there will be room for him once, hopefully, I set you free. But that's what I'm here to talk to you about, because part of our party, and I'll just generally point, is scared that if we do free you, you're gonna become some, I don't know, raging fire god, and you're gonna destroy half the planet or continent or whatever. Because, you know that smart guy I was telling you about?
Sure.
Yeah. So he said that you remember that cult that ended up following you?
The parties.
Yeah. So apparently you blew them up.
Huh. I did. Yes.
Yeah, and that created a giant lake. Which, pretty cool, but also I don't think we want to be blown up for freeing you, you know?
I can't. I remember they're screaming, but I can't remember why.
The only thing I know is that you gathered them all in one place and blew them up. And then made a massive crater.
It does sound familiar.
Probably is. And
I must have had a good reason for it.
If I may, do you know what you would want to do once you are free? As I guess the question to ask first.
Maybe the real question is, do you even want to be free? Do you like your life here? Living as you do?
That question never crossed my mind. If I'm trapped, then I'm probably trapped for a reason.
Exactly. You, by all accounts, you were very, and I hesitate to even bring this up, but you're very dangerous, and by some accounts, some would consider you evil.
Well, I can't be evil. I teach lessons. That's a good thing.
Well, sure. To the point that there's some concern that you've the power to end life on as we know it. So,
I imagine you'd only be afraid of that if you thought that life needed to be taught a lesson.
Well, maybe you should tell him about our real problems that we have right now.
Right. So the reason we didn't come back super duper soon after we left was a couple of reasons. One, it took me forever to figure out the thing about the towers, because obviously I'm not that smart. And then also we've been dealing with, do you know somebody named Toradan?
Yes, the Dark Prince.
Yeah. So he's trying to come back into
That
existence.
scoundrel.
What do you think of Dark Prince? Like scoundrel, that scoundrel I drank with him last night. Scoundrel or...
No, he's just a bit of a... What do you call them? A brat? A boy? A boy! That's what you said last time.
Yes, he's trying to, I believe he's trying to kill everyone on the planet.
And that isn't a good idea?
No, he's being quite naughty.
Well, someone should teach him a lesson then.
It could be you.
Or it could be us with your help. I mean, if you don't feel like getting out and giving lessons.
Or it could be you with our help.
If I was free, there's probably bigger fish to fry than that little upstart.
Like what?
Oh, no.
What? No, maybe just stretch your legs a little bit and, get back into the swing of things with him before you move on to your bigger fish. At least, he has a job to do, if we understand correctly, and he's not been doing it.
Is that why you're not learning any lessons?
Yes. He's not doing his job, and lessons are not being learned.
So because he's not learning his lesson, we aren't learning our lessons.
That's the real tragedy.
Hmm.
So if we help you to get free, would you be so kind as to maybe assist us as well?
I think that I'm quite busy if I'm free. I've had quite a few things build up in my time away, I imagine.
Well, like what?
There are other realms to visit. There are other, friends that I would like to see. It's been quite some time, and I imagine if Tordan is deciding that he is calling the shots, that others might have slipped away. They might need a little refresher on what their duties are. And also, I'd like to check on all of the people I have taught lessons.
Right.
Or I guess I could go directly to their souls.
Well, you will have to wade through an endless sea of souls in the in-between of lives.
The
Since
Void Realm.
Tordan, yes, since Tordan is not doing his job.
There's a what?
The Void Realm.
What is that?
That's where your souls go before they are ferried to, I guess, the next step. Have you not been? You must have been.
I don't think so. But maybe in like 60 years I'll be there.
You all have a lot of requests and not a lot of information. It's very annoying.
Yeah, that's not true. I told you how we can free you.
Sounds like a lot of theorizing.
I mean, I can go prove it to you if you really want me to. But then if I'm right, then you owe me.
Goliath, it is adorable that you think that I shall ever owe you anything.
We do not intend to imply debt. We are merely asking, perchance, for a favor, in the hopes that it will bring you amusement or perhaps new knowledge. Friends do friends favors here and
I think
there.
that's what the parties were for. Lots of people asking me for favors, and I used to give them to them, and I think that was the problem. I don't do favors.
Don't. Would you prefer an exchange?
I don't know what you have that I would want.
Wouldn't your freedom? Do you want to be free? See, that's the big question. Is if you don't want to be free, then there's no real reason for us to try to free you.
It'd be a lot of work to be free. But I could go dispense more lessons. But I have been dispensing lessons from here.
Not as many as you could.
Just quick, honored one. Do you mind if I talk to my party just a moment as you ponder that?
Can I borrow your music?
Certainly. Please understand it was meant for much more fragile creatures, and it is, as such, equally fragile.
He kind of like cups it in his palms, and you can see like faint trails of smoke begin to kind of waft from where his fingers are touching it because of the heat coming from his hands. And he kind of like turns it over and kind of like plucks a few talons through the strings, and marvelous. All right. And then he just turns around and begins descending through the hole.
Okay, real quick. He remembers Tordan.
Yup.
And, I don't know what else we're going to do here. It may behoove us to ask exactly how much he remembers. Because whether we free him or not, it doesn't sound like he's too keen on helping stop Tordan. But his knowledge may be pretty helpful.
That's
If
true.
he can,
And I think he doesn't remember for a reason.
well,
Like, I think one of the stones, like if we break that, he might remember more.
Maybe this is absurd under the circumstances, but he sounds rather ungrateful to me.
I don't think he's ungrateful. I think he's loony. Don't think he knows. I'm sure if he were entirely rational, he would be very grateful we're here to set him free.
I can't imagine anything else he has to say at this point is going to give us a better idea of whether or not he should be freed. I think it's just a roll of the dice at this point.
Well, now I'm open to opinions and suggestions. We got here. That was my real goal.
By his own admission, we have nothing to gain by freeing him, and who knows what to lose.
I think realistically, our best case scenario is he goes and bothers some other realm for a long time.
Let's just put this in perspective, shall we? An indeterminate amount of arcane users imprisoned an indeterminately powerful being with methods beyond our perception for reasons unknown, and all on the basis of him sounding like a good guy. We're going to just let him go.
I'm not saying that we're going to. I'm saying that we have the option.
Maybe it's not a good idea. And if he doesn't particularly want to be set free, I think we should just go with the safer of the options right now and leave things as they are.
If he knows the same spell I know, which given his power I'm sure is likely, we could just leave him here as is, and if he would like to be set free, he can always reach out. Yeah?
That is true.
And if possible, maybe get this guy a tea kettle and maybe a couple of books or something, if we can.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea.
He
Should have thought that.
He doesn't even know what music is. I mean, no wonder he's mad.
All right.
Okay. Well, maybe let's ask him about Tordan, see if he's got any information, and then let him know. Hey, if you need something, send us a message.
Okay. And you guys aren't wrong. He doesn't seem like he really wants to be free. He doesn't really care. Do you want him to come back?
Well, yeah, I want my loot, yes.
Friend!
You would hear a few layers below. Yes, what? 1 minute, 1 second.
My loot, no.
Do I smell smoke?
Yeah.
Yes?
Fuck.
I think he's burning your loot.
So after a few seconds after he calls out, you would see his head begin to ascend back into the room, and in his hands is your loot, and it looks reasonably intact. Some of the red finish and stain that was put into the wood has now been cindered slightly, kind of charged a little bit, and he's like, "It is a very interesting instrument," and lays it in your hands.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
So,
Dragon
friend.
chess?
Oh, yes, there is that. Lord Valorant, did you want to play dragon chess with friend?
I did say that, didn't I? Why not? Why not
Splendid.
for one round?
So he would kind of run over to a cushion, kind of sit down, and again, this massive framed man still is rather intimidating, even sat cross-legged with a playful smile on his lips, and he would very eagerly begin to play dragon chess with you, sir.
What did we say that was?
It's 3 rounds of intelligence checks,
Okay.
and I will roll publicly because I find that funny. All right. So he sits down, the first couple moves with you. It seems that he's rather rusty, not having played since playing Marcus. So a few of his moves are a little bit less than satisfactory, but he still seems very eager to continue playing. You have slight upper hand.
Oh.
Holy crap.
I mean, even still, he just has to roll it. Ooh. Ooh.
So as you get midway through the game, it's clear that you're taking advantage of the board. You have a few pieces very tactfully placed where they are threatening quite a fair bit of his pieces. And he pauses for a moment. Human, Valorant. Oh, Lord, is that a name?
That's the title.
Is that what parties call you, is Lord?
It means that I have privileges and responsibilities.
Doesn't everybody?
No.
You don't speak a lot. I find that interesting.
In other contexts, I have more to say.
Why not this one?
Because I'm not familiar with... Well, you.
I've never had a problem talking with people that I'm unfamiliar with. Is that perhaps a flaw?
Sorry, what?
Are you an introvert?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's simply a matter of wanting to be sure of the etiquette.
Interesting. Where did you learn to play this game?
Marcus taught me.
How did he die?
He was lured to his death by an agent of Tordan.
Must have been rather weak then.
Well, perhaps that's relative.
I imagine you don't like Torden very much then.
He wants to destroy our world.
It's very dramatic. I don't think he would succeed.
We don't intend that he does.
Are you suggesting that you're going to stop him?
It is currently our mission in life.
Well, that's just sad.
What's sad about it?
I don't know, it seems like you have such a short time and Tordan's just gonna outlast you. I mean, he doesn't die, so what's the point?
You can apply that kind of reasoning to anything. In a sufficiently long time frame, there's no point to anything, but... well, we're here, so why not?
Your humans are always very intriguing. I wish that I could handle more of you.
Well, when we finish this game, I'll have some news for you that you may find entertaining.
Ooh. Alright. And he focuses back on the game. Damn, son. Ooh. So, you're still a point up. We'll say, all you have to do is time at this point to win. Tie or better.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Look at this.
This is pretty great. Nice. So, right at the end, seemingly having a burst of inspiration after his small prying with you, he begins to kind of lose focus yet again as he's more interested in what surprise you might have. So eventually, you win, and it's so trivial to him, he's like, okay, yes, what?
I played another game of Dragon Chess recently with someone else, and lost, perhaps because I hadn't played in some time. I was motivated today. His name is Aldous. He is a wizard, magic user.
That name seems familiar.
Does it?
Damn, there's too many humans.
Valoran describes Aldous to him in an attempt to jog his memory. Actually, he beckons Jarek to come over and do a minor illusion image of him, if he will.
Have I seen all this? Offhand, I don't remember if I ever went up there. Maybe the first time we were in Freesight City, but offhand,
I don't think
just
you've
don't
ever
recall.
gone inside. Yeah.
Really?
Because
Well-
the last time y'all were up there, I don't think
Yeah.
I got anything.
I thought that you and Decker went together, and then me and Thor went.
No, it was Thor and Decker,
No.
and then Thor and you.
Oh.
I mean, the first time in Free Sight was right before Butcher's Hole.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, did Rolly go up there?
I thought we all went that first time.
I think we all did.
As a group? Okay, then maybe I did,
Okay.
yeah.
I think
then
we
yes.
all did.
I'll have to double check because I'm not sure about that one. But go for it.
Well, yeah, so Jarek will pull up a minor illusion of Aldous on his little cauldron. Right? Because he sits on a cauldron.
Little cooking pot.
And then one of that, and then one closer up of his face.
Kind of peers at it a little bit, kind of scratching his chin, his talons kind of scraping against his scales. You all look so similar. I feel like I know him.
He collects a lot of things. Like a lot of magic things. He likes rare things. Like he really wants to buy this. And I'll like throw out the sword.
That sounds like one of those beasts, the dragons.
Is Aldous a dragon in disguise?
That would be rather fun.
You may want to draw this image for yourself so that you will know when he arrives. See, he's on his way here, I believe.
Well, then we shall find out what he is rather promptly.
He made a deal with one of Tordan's agents. And so I thought, after we spoke, that I would send him here so that you could...
Teach him a lesson?
Yes.
He sounds like a greedy little munchkin.
I think that is a fair assessment.
Easy.
I hope that you enjoy. I know that the passage of time here is something of an open question, but for what it's worth, it seemed that he left right away.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
That I imagine he would be here soon.
Well, if he left right away, and you were there with him, but you're here, then when did he be here?
Perhaps we took a shorter route.
Perhaps he struggles to walk with the cauldron.
Well, he floats.
There's no chance he's already been here, is there?
Humans fly. I thought they didn't fly.
Some do.
With help, they can sometimes achieve this. As I said, there's no way he's already been here, is there?
I could check my papers.
If you wouldn't mind.
I'll be back. He begins to descend through the floor.
Does anyone have any objection to this, by the way?
Oh, not really.
He cinched my loot. What the hell?
I mean, you probably should have, told him.
I told him it was fragile. It was nice lacquer.
You handed your wooden loot over to somebody who boils water in his hands.
You're muted, Rob.
Well, hopefully.
Was that loot special to you?
Well, I mean, without it, I am quite literally useless. So, yeah. No, Valoran, you're fine. I think, all this is going to be a problem for us, given that Novin and him seem to be on much better terms than they probably should be.
That's what I thought as well.
I think Aldous is only worried about Aldous and his collections.
So I guess, are we like done here? We just need to tell him that if he wants to be set free to let us know.
I'll leave the finer points of it up to you. But it doesn't seem like the big success that I would have hoped for.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he would have been more excited.
Well, he's completely just mad, so...
I don't think he's mad. I just think, he's alone. He's got nothing to do.
But also, if you have only a tenuous grasp on the passage of time, then what is prison? Every day is a new day.
Well, now that Thor has given him a way to track time...
He said they ran out of paper.
True. Well, hopefully he can take care of the Aldous problem. Best case scenario, Aldous does not return to his house, and maybe we can pay to visit again.
Uh-huh.
As you hear the shuffling of papers growing louder yet again, he eventually floats back up to the floor and he's like, well, unless he was a cockroach, a crow, or a worm, he has not visited any time recently.
Well, then he must still be on his way.
Hmm.
So yes, when he arrives, he is a very good candidate for a lesson.
Goliath, you said he wanted your sword. Can I use that for the lesson?
My sword?
Yes.
But I need my sword.
I'll give you another one.
You're gonna give me another sword?
Yes.
Well, what is your sword compared to my sword?
Good look. I don't know.
Or are you gonna give me a lesson sword? Because I don't need a lesson sword.
Eh.
What do you mean, eh? You can't me. We're friends, okay? We don't give each other, cursed things, lessons.
Curse is a very strong term that is used poorly. Lessons.
You definitely cursed that one guy to become a dragon.
And he is better for it.
I don't think he is. I'm pretty sure he's dead now because of it.
Come on, have a little fun, Thor. It might end up working in your favor. Maybe the lesson's funny, but the sword is particularly powerful.
Maybe the sword will talk to me.
From what I've heard and seen, you haven't really done much with your sword yet.
What? Wow. Okay.
Oh, no. I mean, that came out wrong. I mean, just...
No, it's fine. It's fine. You want my sword, friend, as a sign of, us being friends? Even though you don't believe that we're friends, like, you don't want to be free, you don't want to come hang out with me at all.
Well, I could... Hanging out with you for only a handful of years would be rather boring. It would just be...
See,
and then you're gone.
that just hurts me,
Well, don't grow attached to immortal beings.
It's too late for that, friend. Do you want my sword?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I'll give it to you because why not?
I shall find you something then.
But it has to be equally as good.
Sure.
No, sure. It's okay. You got it. Yes. Because the
Alright.
sword does me a lot of good. And
Why are
it
you
helps
giving
me
it
teach
up?
a lot. Because if it'll help you with your lessons, and you really enjoy your lessons, that's fine. Plus, I guess I could always come back for it, or find what's his face for it. If I really wanted it.
I shall find you a weapon then.
Alright.
He then descends up through the ceiling.
I think he made the right choice.
I think I'm about to be cursed to eternal doom, but my life is so meaningless and short. Why not?
That is right, and he begins to descend from the ceiling yet again. He is holding a pickaxe.
Friend, this is not the same.
No, this is phenomenal. This is great, Thor.
Just pick it up.
Okay, I'll pick it up.
So it is a rather intricate pickaxe. The shaft is obviously some rather rich, well-worn, and somewhat decorated mahogany, and it's been stained and very well taken care of. There's a small hand wrapping in the middle to grab onto. The metal that actually makes up the head seems to be lined with this kind of green shifting hue that works through the various folds of the metal and then kind of shines in this strange light, glow, sheen, one of those words. But as you pick it up in your hands, it feels much lighter than you would assume. Like it kind of just like feels almost like a toy basically, and it kind of almost gives you that immediate sensation of like, yeah, like there's like made in Asmiliath, China, whatever. And he then like gestures down to it. It acts as a boomerang.
A boomerang?
But, it gets better. At any point, you can choose to swap places with it.
Uh-huh.
And since you can't fly,
I could throw it up, swap places, and then fall back down
yes.
onto my pickaxe.
Yes.
Seems kind of bad. But it could be cool. And so can I
don't know
call
what
it
that
back?
means, but yes. No, you
Does it?
throw it, and it comes back.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if I switch places with it, right? So if I throw it, and then in the middle of the throw I switch places with it, is it going to come back to me still?
I imagine so.
Alright.
Much cooler than your last weapon.
What?
Your last one looked like you were throwing candy at babies. This one sounds like it's got real practical use.
Okay. Fine.
Splendid.
Here's to the experiences.
This has been a glorious day.
Yup. It's everything I would have hoped for. I'll just hand over my sword, take my pickaxe. Is this gonna teach me a lesson?
So, human, Valorant.
Alright.
It seems
Yes.
that you are the most direct out of these other humans.
At times. I'm not sure
Okay.
that I'm more direct than Thor, but I guess if we're ranking ourselves by directness, then I'm in the upper 50%.
That seems very indirect as an answer, but okay. I want you, because you are a party leader, a lord, I want a promise from you.
Such as?
If any of the other humans need a lesson, you bring them back. If Jarek ever grows tired, I want him. And within a year, I want another visit.
All right, I agree.
Splendid.
I'll just be sitting there with my pickaxe. Do you know anything about Tordan? Like, what do you know about him besides that he's a boy?
Well, I mean, I imagine quite a bit. I haven't really thought of him in quite some time. Do you have a question?
Well, yeah, like, what's he all about?
A rather vague question, but he was what do you call it? Formed out of necessity when mortal souls began to leave the world and find themselves in the void. They called out and they were like, "Oh, we need to go somewhere else. We cannot stay here. This is not good." And so
The Void
toward
Realm.
the void realm, yes.
Mm,
It's quite
Get it.
beautiful. You should visit there sometime.
I probably will.
Well, enjoy your visit. But yes, as I was saying, the souls called out and they needed a guide or an entity to help them. And Tordan, wherever he came from, it's with these spirit entity things. It's very difficult to figure out where they come from. But that's questions for somebody else. And then he appeared, and he did his job. And that was splendid, and we all loved him, and he was all invited to all the parties, and then he stopped doing his job. Oh, it was after he talked to Cone, yes. And then after he stopped doing his job, the souls were very upset. We were all very upset. We had an intervention with him, and that went poorly. I think, who was it? What's her name? The matriarch, the woman?
Robica.
No,
Not
she's
Robica.
she's boring.
The first mother.
Yes, that's
Bar.
that's what they call her, the mother. She was very upset with Novin. I think there was something there. I'm not quite sure. I don't keep up with that kind of drama.
Open?
Yes.
Tordan.
The Dark Prince, that one.
Tordan,
Yes.
not Novin.
No, I don't know Novin.
Okay. Carry on.
Okay. Is it answering your question?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Carry on.
Yes, so the mother was very upset with Tordan, and did I say the wrong word?
Yeah, that's why we were confused.
I apologize. It's long time, lots of names. What was I saying?
The mother was upset with Tordan.
Yes, the mother was upset with Tordan, and who did she talk to? It was it Arovica? I think it was Arovica. They had a thing, and then that what's her name? Nature lady.
Naturine.
Yes, that one. She was involved. I think. She also. She was bedding a human. Oh yes, that was quite the gossip at the time. I think you all liked him a lot. Very human that did not need a lot of lessons. I don't remember his name. Oh, it was one of those stupid beasts they also brought in. Ugh. I told them that they can't trust him. He's dragons are very deceitful creatures, and they don't make a lot of sense, and they're very greedy, as you might know, and,
The
but they did
Black
stop...
Dragon?
No, not Sigurith. Oh, Jesus. No, not him. He's so, what do you call it? Spoiled? Spoiled. But, I think they all got together. Had a little, party, I think. And, they stopped Tordan. And we sent him off for a little timeout, and then he came back, and then sent him off for a little timeout, and then he came back, and we really should find a more permanent solution, because he doesn't seem to be learning his lessons, much like, stubborn humans.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking you would, since you're like the all-powerful lesson teacher, you would have an idea as to how to teach him a, final lesson, but you seem to have bigger things to do. Or not do, I guess.
I have to learn how to do music. That's on the list.
Yeah,
What would it take for someone to take over where he has left off? There wasn't always a being taking the souls from the void. We need a new being to take the souls from the void because Tordan won't learn his lesson.
Well, to, free him from his duties, and I guess to put someone else in it, you'd have to, talk to the Earth Father. He's rather, picky about these things. And if he doesn't know, then I imagine he knows someone who would. Yes.
That's it. Talk to the Earth Father.
It takes some time, as appointments are rather, busy. Sparse. Availability.
Busy.
Thing.
Yep.
I haven't
So
talked
how
to
do
him quite
you?
some time.
Yeah, how would you talk to him?
Well, I'd go to his, what do you mortals have a term for it. It's, castle?
His
Palace?
castle?
It is temple. I take it.
Sure. Temples are
He
where
has
the
a-
parties are?
For the humans.
Hmm.
Or do you mean his celestial household? Within the realm of the gods.
Oh, yes, you all believe in the gods. How do I put this? In heavens, sky, realm, he has a house. Yes.
Yeah.
So we just need to show up to the Earth Father's house in the heavens above. Oh. Well, I'm glad that was a simple
How do you even
task.
get there?
I just picture it, or I used to picture it.
So you could take us there?
You tell me how it is, Thor. I'll wait here for you.
I think it'd be
imagine
kind of cool.
I could go if I could leave the tower. I don't know if I can bring others along. I haven't tried that.
Yeah. But you don't seem like you want to leave the tower, so
That is true, yes.
I can't really think of a way to make you want to leave the tower.
Wouldn't you want to speak with another of your immortal companions? Rather than with us short-lived beings.
Jarek, have you ever, how do I put this? known another human that was not pleasant to be around.
I can imagine.
That is how I feel about all of these beings, because I have spent an eternity having to deal with them, and they are all obnoxious in their own way. And I
Understandable.
can't teach them lessons.
So if you can't teach them lessons, how are you going to teach Torah then a lesson? Or how would you?
He's young enough. I could probably get rid of him.
How do you even do that?
I'd have to know what form he's come back in. That might make a few things complicated.
What do you mean, what form? Does he? Oh, how many forms does he have?
Well, he could come back in different realms. He could come back in different forms. He could present his different beings or entities, or he could even change his name, which then changes a fair amount of spells. And if he doesn't respond to his true name, then perhaps he's an even Torodan, and then we have to get into a whole debate
His
on
true
whether
name?
Well, yes.
You mean like Torah then?
Yes.
Ah. I thought it
We
was
try
like a
not to
different...
change our names. It gets very confusing.
Yeah. Well, we know in a year he's going to be, well, maybe not a year now, but in roughly a year he's going to be here.
Ah, well, I will start preparing then.
Would
You won't be able to leave the tower.
Well, if he ends the world, then I imagine he'll pay a visit.
would you be willing to impart to us any other knowledge on defeating or teaching him a lesson, should it come to you over the next year?
Well, I imagine if you're trying to repeat what the humans have already done, then you would want to seek out the mother. Yes? Seems to be her hobby.
Yes, well, mothers disciplining their children is pretty normal.
Yes.
A gift for you, my friend, and Jarek will pass over the signal whistle that Valoran had given him many moons ago, and you can blow this to make very simple music, maybe bang on a hollow log to add to it. For when you get bored of staring out the window.
I shall try it. Well, any more questions?
What do you know about magical bears?
Oh god.
It's okay, you guys can start leaving. I assume we're gonna be done soon.
Magical bears. Well, there are many magical creatures, or many magical things that take the form of not their original form.
Yeah, so here's what happened. And I'm not going through all of it. But I'll tell them about how I fought. Kuztar got knocked out. Bear woke me up. Discovered the bear. How, like, the visions that I saw of it in, like, the cave. How it resembled my parents. All that stuff. I'm not explaining this bear to everyone we meet.
So after going through the tale, which he, like, a few places he kind of, like, starts looking away, then he's like, oh, no, and then he try and pay more attention, but eventually, it seems like it is trying to teach you a lesson.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't want to come in here.
If it's magical, then I imagine, my prowess might scare it off. It seems like this cave is rather important. It also seems that it is attached to you for some reason, if it keeps coming back.
Yeah, it's got something to do with Naturaine, too.
She's a little, clingy.
Clingy.
Mm-hmm. There's a few rumors around us, higher beings, gods, whatever you want to call us, that she's a little bit too in touch with the mortals.
All right, because of the whole, like, Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Not exactly smiled upon.
Well, she said kill him, so I don't really know who she wants to kill. If she wants to kill me, or she wants to kill
Kill
me
the
to
bear.
kill somebody. Well, I don't know that.
It was following the bear around, saying, kill him. The bear is male. Kill the bear.
But also the guy that beat me up is male, and the bear appeared after that guy beat me up. So maybe she wants me to kill that guy.
I'd just do them both.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I'd probably do the guy before the bear.
Sure.
Yeah, I know. I know. You don't care. It's okay. Alright. Well, I think I've gotten everything that I can. I have a new pickaxe. So that's pretty cool. I'm sure it
Indeed.
definitely won't teach me a lesson. Yeah, I always believe my friends. And Carl said hi, I'm sure.
I really didn't like him, that's why I gave him away.
Yeah, I know. He hasn't really done much for me, and I don't really know what he's supposed to do, so. Well, anyways. Is there anything you need from us before we leave?
No, Valorant had his word, so I'm complete.
I would like to ask something else.
Oh, yes.
You have lived a long time with all of these higher beings.
Mm-hmm.
You've told us about the Earth Father, Tordan. I would like to know about Erovica.
Kind of minor, but okay, yes.
You see, it's perhaps rather quaint for you. Other humans have this belief that she is destined to unite with the greatest warrior, whatever that entails.
That sounds like one of those rumors that she likes to spread so that more men chase after her.
That's something that she enjoys, is it?
She did have an odd fascination with being chased. Not physically, I guess emotionally.
Sought after.
Yes, sure. But I think she used to do small parties where she gave favors to her best sotters, seekers, chasers.
So she did grant boons. It wasn't all just playing hard to get.
Yes, I mean, it would be rather boring to never play with your toys. Yeah.
Interesting.
Can you, like, tell if she's talked to us or like been in connection with us.
Well, even my magical perception stops just outside my clearing. I only have...
No, but I mean, like, if you look at me, you're like, she's definitely talked to this guy. Or if you look at him, you're like, she has definitely talked to that guy.
Residual sign, sort of like what you left on Jarek's loot.
How did you know?
I saw it. As Thor is asking if you have seen on us.
Wait, did you put a lesson in Jarek's loot?
Can I touch you, human?
Very well.
He kind of steps up to you, and even Valorant, being a rather tall human being and a rather impressive gentleman, is somewhat dwarfed by this being. Thankfully, he chooses to kind of grab you on your shoulders through your clothing or your armor, whatever you have on currently. So it does subdue some of the heat that would be transferred. But he kind of just like rests his hands on you, and his purple eyes just stare directly down into yours. And there's a few seconds where you almost get like entranced in his gaze, and he just continues to almost probe into you, diving into your being. And then he just takes his hands off, and I think that you are certainly a chaser.
I would say that's true.
It seems that she has noticed you, if that fills your heart with glee.
Glee, no, but it's nice to know.
Wait, do me. I need to know. What are my tingles?
All right, Goliath, come here. Kind of same process, except I guess you don't have any clothing, so there would be a very, very uncomfortable heat placed on your shoulders. And again, he kind of locks eyes with you and goes through the process, and he pulls off. He's like, no.
Nothing?
Not the Rofika, no.
Well, who else? What is that supposed to mean?
It's I think Naturane. You kind of smell a little bit of her.
Oh. Gotcha.
I've never had much use for the gods, but maybe they know something I don't.
That's usually a good way to get their favor. Okay, Dekka, come here. Gotta plant his hands on you. Same process yet again. Kind of goes like a... Kind of backs up off of you. You seem rather, untouched.
I'll keep it that way then.
Now do Jerry. JD.
No, I've had Ophilus in me. I'm good. Thank
Nope,
you.
do it.
Oh, Phyllis, that's a fun one.
Yeah, fun.
Do it. Everybody else has done it.
Thor, I know I've been touched. I felt
Yeah,
him
but, like,
upon me.
But like, what if he wants you back, you know? Like, what if it'd be good for you?
Don't force it if he doesn't want it.
Thor, I betrayed him. He does not want me back.
How do you know?
He left me for dead. I think there's a pretty clear sign on that one.
He also
Clear
saved-
lesson.
Yes. It was definitely a lesson.
Come on. Just do it. You know you want to.
Thor, you're looking for something that you don't know exists. I know it exists.
He's been through a lot, Thor. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't have to do it.
It used to be so fun.
Yes, well, blood loss will do that to you.
True. Well, I guess we're done here. Anything else? Any other interesting demands?
No, I'm quite content.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just take the tree down. Big.
Well, it has been a lovely visit, and I shall be looking forward to the next.
Same.
Jarek will offer a bow in respect, and I thank you for your time and for what you left upon my loot.
If you see Tyler, tell me what happened.
I can probably already tell you what is going to happen, at least.
Yes.
Yeah. Doesn't take a smart person to figure that out.
Well, he would gesture for you all to leave, and Big would take you into his loving arms and descend down unless there was any final comments.
I do have a final comment. But it would be like out of everybody's earshot. Except for, obviously, his friends.
Okay, I mean, I guess you could say you're saying it as you all step out.
Yeah. I do end up setting you free. Come find us.
I'll try to fit it in the schedule.
I know you're very busy. See you later, friend.
Goodbye, Glad.
I'll step off.
So as the party is returned to the ground and then make their way back to the horses, I guess we could bring this session to an end.